My friend, before the darkness attacks, it doesn't always roar, it whispers. The enemy comes with questions, not chains. Questions designed to make you doubt, to make you shrink, to make you stop fighting. Did God really say that? A question meant to loosen your grip on truth. Who do you think you are? Meant to strip away your identity and silence your voice. What if you fail? Meant to paralyze you before you even take a step. Does anyone even care? Meant to pull you into the pit of loneliness and convince you that no one sees your fight. And finally, the deadliest question of all, why not just give up? Meant to make you lay down your sword and walk away from the battle. These questions are not harmless thoughts, they are spiritual traps. And the moment you start to answer them, you are already stepping into the snare. But here's the good news. You don't have to answer with fear. You answer with truth. And when you do, every question becomes an opportunity to break the enemy's grip on your life. Did God really say that? The first attack never comes as a sword. It comes as a question. It is soft, subtle, and almost reasonable. Did God really say that? It does not demand, it does not accuse, it simply invites you to wonder. This is how the enemy works, not by kicking the door down, but by loosening the hinges, one whisper at a time. You begin to wonder if the promise you've been holding on to was ever real, if the verse you've been standing on was ever meant for you, if the path you've chosen was ever the right one. And the longer you entertain that question, the more your confidence begins to tremble. The enemy knows that a doubting heart is a vulnerable heart. He does not need you to reject God outright. He only needs you to hesitate long enough for fear to take root. The question is, the trap door? The moment you start believing it, you are already falling. The answer is not to argue with the voice, but to cling tighter to the truth, to speak it out loud, and to remind yourself that what God has spoken cannot be undone. Who do you think you are? The second question strikes at the core of your identity. It is not about what you believe, but about who you are allowed to be. Who do you think you are? It sounds mocking, almost amused, as if daring you to stand tall. This question is meant to shrink you, to remind you of every mistake, every failure, every weakness you've ever tried to forget. It dredges up the past and holds it like a mirror, hoping you will see yourself as small, unworthy, and powerless. If you accept its premise, you stop praying boldly, you stop speaking with authority, and you stop resisting what is coming against you. The enemy knows that if he can steal your identity, he can steal your courage. And a person without courage is easy to control. But this is where you must rise. You do not answer this question with a resume of your achievements or a list of your good deeds. You answer it with the truth of who you belong to. Your authority is not rooted in your perfection, but in the one who calls you his. That is the answer that silences the voice. What if you fail? The third question comes like a shadow right before the breakthrough, a dark whisper meant to freeze you in place. What if you fail? It does not just question your plans, it paints a picture of your downfall in vivid color. You imagine yourself humiliated, your efforts wasted, your faith shattered. Fear grips you so tightly that you begin to think staying still is safer than stepping forward. This is the enemy's tactic, not to stop you with chains, but to stop you with the thought of chains. If he can make you afraid of what might happen, you will never see what actually could happen if you trust God. Fear is a prophet of the wrong kingdom, predicting a future where God abandons you and you are left to pick up the pieces alone. But fear lies. The only way to silence this question is to obey anyway, to step forward even with trembling hands and shaking knees. Your victory is not in avoiding failure, but in refusing to let fear dictate your choices. Every step you take in faith tells the enemy that you trust God's plan more than you fear his threats. Does anyone even care? This question does not shout, it sighs. It comes in the quiet moments, when the room is still and your heart is heavy. Does anyone even care? It is a question designed to pull you into the pit of loneliness, to convince you that your pain is invisible and your fight meaningless. The enemy loves isolation, because a person who feels unseen will stop crying out, stop reaching out, and eventually stop standing up. This question twists reality until you believe that no one notices, no one understands, and no one would help even if they could. It is a cruel lie, because it makes you withdraw from the very help that could save you. The more you agree with it, the darker the room becomes. But you must remember, your battle is seen, your tears are counted, your fight is not forgotten. Heaven is not indifferent to your struggle. The answer to this question is to drag your loneliness into the light, to speak, to pray, to let others in. Isolation loses its power the moment you refuse to be silent. You are not abandoned, and that truth is a weapon that breaks the enemy's hold. May not just give up. This is the last and most dangerous question, the one that doesn't sound like an attack, but like an escape. Why not just give up? It whispers like a false comfort, offering you a way out of the struggle, a way to stop fighting, a way to stop feeling. It is seductive because it sounds like rest, but it is actually surrender. The enemy waits until you are tired, worn down, and wounded before asking it, knowing that a weary soul is easier to persuade. If you agree, if you lay down your sword and walk away, the battle is lost without another strike being made. This is not just a question, it is an invitation to despair, but despair is not your portion. The answer to this question is defiance, not silence. You plant your feet, you lift your voice, and you declare that quitting is not an option. You may be bruised, but you are not broken. You may be tired, but you are not done. Every time you refuse to give up, you remind hell that it has not won. Endurance is its own victory, and it terrifies the enemy more than you know.